So I'm just back from Burning Man, and I know a lot of people want to know how to clean their board off afterwards, so I'm going to give you a little look at my board and tell you what I've already done. Basically, after the rain on the playa, my board was a bit dusty, and I had access to a high pressure air compressor nozzle, so I blew it out on the playa. And then when I got home, I took it out on a ride and rode it around, kind of dropped it a few times, tried to get most of the dust off riding through grass and things like that. And then I put it in the back of my car and accidentally dropped it on the pavement from the trunk, and a lot of dust came out then. Don't recommend that. But this is the state it's in. What am I going to do now? Basically just wipe it off. Get the rag, wring it out, give everything a wipe, and all of this dust is just going to come right off. I put a little bit of vinegar, maybe half cup in with the water. Look at the grip tape, just saturate it, rinse it off, saturate. The dust really just comes right off. Get it a little bit wet. Yeah, it'll be a little dusty. Who cares? I'm gonna take it on the trails anyway. Let's see what else we can do around the axles. Quick wipe. Don't get a lot of water in there when you're blowing it. Don't get a lot of air blowing the dirt in there. Just try to avoid that and just give it a quick wipe with a damp rag or damp Q-tip. That's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Sorry about my terrible camera work. See that? Just wipes right off. Am I gonna take my board apart? No, not until I need to. This dust is not harming anything. Once you wipe it off, you're good to go. This board is 7 years old, the second time Burning Man. This is all I did the first time 7 years ago. Board is fine. Still runs. Give it a quick wipe. Look at that. Comes right off. No problemo. That's how you clean the board after Burning Man, folks. Don't get upset about it. Don't let it harsh your decompression. Sorry about my one-handed camera work, but hey, there you go. So I was out riding my Onewheel, and I noticed that the front was deactivating. So checked the app and noticed that the toe side was less sensitive than it should be. So what do I do in the field? Well, first of all, you find a little stick. It's about the right size, not too fat. You put that on the side that's having trouble. And then hopefully you've got your little tool stash under the fender with the little Allen wrench for taking your board apart. You tape that little puppy on there with a piece of extra duct tape. All right. And then when you stand on that, it won't have any problems activating. Onewheel friends back from Burning Man. That didn't take long for me to decide to do a deep clean. I went on a ride today and had my front sensor toe side deactivate. So I did the field mod there to keep it activated, but it was basically due to dirt that had concentrated, I guess, after trying to clean it just with spot cleaning with a rag. So I'm going to do a little more cleaning of that, take it off. We're going to take a look inside just for grins. That's what it looks like inside the connector box after a burn. Not too bad. I'm going to clean off the back pad, and I'm also going to soak all of the connectors and everything, wipe them all off with rubbing alcohol. Could use a little bit higher concentration, but I'm kind of running out. I'm gonna go down here and wipe off the rest of my Eagle battery. I'm gonna take off the fender. I'm gonna take the fender into the shower, clean off that, clean off the zebra. But that's what it looks like. It's not so dusty. This is the Landsurf contour fender. I just Velcro some fun fur on there to give it a little extra speed and confusion factor. But this fender is not only beautiful, but it stays very clean. Nothing really sticks to nylon. It's super strong. Anyway, I'll resume in the shower. Try to film this. I'm going to try to disconnect this, show you. You want to be very careful and only turn the ring on the innermost very gently. You'll feel it turning a little bit, and then it kind of reaches its limit, and then you just grab that ring, same ring, push back, and there you go. Connector insides look good. They were dust sealed, so you really don't have to worry about that dust in that box. I'm going to give this a nice clean. And so I bought this little air duster and vacuum cleaner. It's about $30. It's rechargeable. I used it a couple times at the burn. It's not as powerful as like a mini leaf blower. I think I might invest in one of those. Okay, yeah, I do all this work after everybody goes to sleep. So I'm in the shower. I'm going to try this little blower in here and see how it works on the connector box. Yeah, it worked all right. That's about all the cleaning I'm going to do in there. I forgot to film the actual hose down. Went something like this. Yep, just hose them down. Did the other side too. And then we'll dry them off with the fan, so don't worry. Okay, last one. I've got a stuck bolt on this, so instead of fiddling with that and dealing with it, I'm just going to leave it and do this in the shower very carefully. Gotta figure out a way to prop this up. Just doing the back end, I don't have a battery in there. So it really doesn't matter. Anyway, there you go. That's a Onewheel deep clean after Burning Man. Good enough. It's gonna be connectors, bolts, all cleaned up well. See all the grit that came off. And I'm gonna tighten those connectors up a little bit. Spread the pins. These little pins inside these XT90s and XT60s. The male side, you can spread those 4 little prongs, make them tighter. Anyway, that's important since I had the power disconnect. Okay, I've had this on the fan for just a little bit, really 15 minutes or so, and the bottom's already dry. So I'm gonna connect it, get this board back together. You wanna be very gentle with this connector, it's very fragile. Make sure that you get the key on the top, if you're connecting it from the top, and be very gentle, very gentle. Okay, we got the flashlight now, so I can see what I'm doing. Because you want to make sure you get this lined up correctly. And then it goes right in, give it a nice shove in there, and then you want to be very gentle with this inner ring. Give it a twist. It might not lock right away. It slipped out, so you want to be very gentle. And you should feel it turn maybe a quarter turn, and then get kind of tight. And it shouldn't wiggle. Give it a little wiggle. It should feel very solid. Check the motor. Motor's solid. So that's it. The compartment's looking good. I'm going to close it up. Put the whole thing back together and I'll resume the video. Don't forget, the short screw goes closest to the fender. That's this little guy right here. This is the one that goes in there. Otherwise you can puncture your battery box and cause a battery fire. So don't do that. Make sure you use the right screws. I want to show you how to use the app to check your foot pad. You want to press on both sides, and while watching the app there's a little shoe that appears underneath the mileage where it shows the board orientation, and you can press and see right there where the board orientation is. You'll show a little shoe with the heel and toe touching as you press the sensor. Alright, my Onewheel Plus Vampire modded eco-powered beast is back together and working after its deep clean upon return from Burning Man. I did have a problem with footpad activation. It was deactivating because of a little bit of residual mud. So that was fixed with a stick to get me home, and took it apart to do a deep clean. Cleaned the fender, cleaned inside the box, and cleaned the tail. So now it's all done. It's actually cleaner than before I left for Burning Man. So I hope that helped you out, and also cleaned out all the connectors and tightened everything on my VNR. I actually have a second port right here, so I can connect 2 batteries and get like a ridiculous amount of range, like 50 miles. But then the board would weigh about 30, well, almost 40 pounds. With this battery, it weighs about the same as a GT and has just about the same range as a GT. Maybe a little more because it doesn't use quite as much power. Please like and subscribe, and I'm going to be filming more content. Maybe even get a better camera, and my videos should improve, so stay tuned. Love you all. Bye.